Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, text number 6. Another big verse. Evam Suchitte Svata Eva Siddha.
Eva Swachite Svataiva Siddha
Atma Priyortam Bhagavan Ananta.
Atma Priyorto Bhagavan Ananta
Samnirvito Niyathartha Bhajeta.
Tam Nirvrito Niyatartho Bhajeta
Samskara Hetu Paramastu Yatra.
Samsara Hetu Paramashayatra
Evam Chitte Smrita Eva Siddha.
Eva Swachite Svataiva Siddha
Atman Priyorto Bhagavan Ananta.
Atma Priyortho Bhagavan Ananta
Nirvito Niryata Go Bhajita.
Nirvito Niyatartho Bhajeta
Samsara Hetu Paramaschayatra.
Samsara Hetu Paramashriya
Evam Suchitte Svata Eva Siddha.
Evam Sachite Sadaiva Siddha
Atma Priyorto Bhagavan Ananta.
Atma Priyato Bhagavan Ananta
Nirvito Niryathartha Bhajita.
Nirvito Niyatartho Bhajeta
Samsara Hetu Paramaschayatra.
Samsara Hetu Paramashriya
Evam
Evam
thus
thus
Svachite
Svachite
in one's own heart. Svatat by its omnipotency. Eva certainly. Siddha
Siddha
fully represented. Atma supersoul.
Supersoul
Priya
Priya
very dear.
Very dear
Artha
Artha
substance. Bhagavan the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Personality of God
Ananta the eternal unlimited. Tam unto him. Nirvata being detached from the world. Niyata
Niyata
permanent. Artha
Artha
the supreme gain.
Supreme Gain
Bhajita
Vijaya
one must worship.
One must worship
Samsara hetu
Samsara Hetu
because of the conditioned state of existence.
because of the conditioned state of existence.
Uparama
Parama
cessation.
Cessation
Cha
Cha
certainness.
Certainly
Yatma
Yatna
in which
in which
translation and purpose do I embrace Srila Prabhupada.
God
Thus being fixed, one must render service unto the Supersoul situated in one's own heart by his omnipotency. Because he is the almighty personality of Godhead, eternal and unlimited, he is the ultimate goal of life. And by worshipping him, one can end the cause of the conditioned state of existence. Purport. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 1861. Which verse is that?
Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridayeshe
Rama.
Sarvabhutani Yatra Dukhani Maya.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the all-pervading, omnipresent Supersoul. Therefore, one who is a yogi can worship only him because he is the substance and not the illusion. Not illusion. Every living creature is engaged in the service of something else. A living being's constitutional position is to render service from the atmosphere of Maya, or illusion, or the conditioned state of existence. The conditioned soul seeks service in service of illusion. Say, all over the world, people they serve dogs. It's amazing. Just recently, one devotee's dog died, lamenting. You know, there's a devotee, or he's a bhakti. He's practicing a little bit. His dog died, so he got another dog. That's what you do. If one dog died, you get another. You gotta get another dog. In America, you gotta have a dog. So he named his dog Eric, and his name is also Eric. He's so attached to these dogs. It's amazing. Yeah. A conditioned soul works in the service of his temporary bodily relatives, like their wife and children and dog, and the necessary paraphernalia for maintaining the body and bodily relations, such as the house, land, wealth, society, and country, but he does not know that all such renderings of service are totally illusory. Oh, it's just a big illusion. This is my sister, this is my brother, this is my mother. And how many brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers have we had? But all of a sudden, oh, this mother, this is my father, this is my brother, my sister. How many, so many, are real brothers and sisters in the spiritual world. And here also, you know, we're brothers here, real brothers, because it's on the spiritual level, not on the temporary illusory, as it said here. As we have discussed many times before, this material world is itself an illusion. There was one devotee, he heard that, and he said, well, it's an illusion. So he tried to walk through the wall. Of course, he bounced into it. So what? Why are you saying solution? It's real life. Walk into the wall, seriously. As we have discussed many times before, this material world is itself an illusion, like a mirage in the desert. In the desert, there is an illusion of water, and the foolish animals become entrapped by such an illusion and run after water in the desert, although there is no water at all. But because there is no water in the desert, one does not conclude that there is no water at all. The intelligent person knows well that there is certainly water, water in the seas and oceans, but such vast reservoirs of water are far, far away from the desert. One should therefore search for water in the vicinity of seas and oceans, not in the desert. Every one of us is searching after real happiness in life, namely eternal life, eternal or unlimited knowledge, and unending blissful life. But foolish people who have no knowledge of the substance search after the reality of life in the illusion. Search after the reality of life in the illusion. This mature body does not endure eternally, and everything in relation with this temporary body, such as wife, children, society, and country, also changes along with the change of the body. This is called samsara, or repetition of birth and death, old age and disease. We would like to find a solution for all these problems of life, but we do not know the way. So people want a solution, and we actually have the solution. Just like we were listening to this class, Ekha Chakraprana. Nice class. And it was about violence. And he mentioned that if we have an ability to help someone and we don't help them, that's violence. It's even criminal. In some states, if you're in a situation where you can help someone, for instance, let's say someone's drowning, and you could have helped them and they drown, it could be a criminal offense. You can go to jail if they find out you know how to swim. It's a criminal offense if you can help someone and you don't. At least in America, I don't know if it's like that in India. But yeah, and we have the ability to help people. People are suffering. And by Prabhupada's books, so many people have been relieved of so much suffering. So if we neglect helping people that are suffering, then it's kind of like we're violent. One lady asked, well, what about if we're violent with ourselves? And I think he said we shouldn't be violent with ourselves. But then you have the example of the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, beat our mind. Pretty violent. Beat our mind, beat her with a stick and a shoe. So, of course, we're not beating ourselves, of course, Atma also, but it's like there's two different entities, the mind and the soul. So the mind can be our friend. So then you get the soul. The mind can be the friend of the soul, or the mind can be the enemy of the soul. So when the mind is the enemy of the soul, then we got to beat it. And how do you beat it?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, chant Hare Krishna. Well, reading Prabhupada's book, sadhana. Good sadhana. We have good sadhana. This beats the mind. This is what beats the mind. Because the mind is contaminated by materialism. So by hearing about Krishna, then the mind becomes spiritualized and is able to be a friend to the soul. It's an amazing thing, isn't it? Within it, there's like there's two entities, and the mind is this major problem. It's a major problem. Even Krishna says if difficult things to conquer on the mind, Buddha Gita. So this is a big challenge, and a lot of people give up Krishna consciousness basically because the mind, attachments of the mind, offenses that the mind makes. One devotee said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I was bathing the deities today, and the thought came to mind to push over the deity. He's on the altar, what's the meaning? The mind. Oh, Prabhupada, that's just the mind. Prabhupada said, it's just the mind. And even was it Kesava Swami said he was on the escalator. In England they have, or London, they have these huge, long escalators. And the thought came to him, what if I push this one right here in front of me? Domino effect, yeah. He said, I'm a monk. I should be thinking like this with the mind. The mind is such a nonsense rascal. So, yeah, we're in the process of purifying. The biggest challenge, or one of the biggest challenges, probably the biggest challenge is developing our love for Krishna. But another big one is especially this rascal mind. Herein it is suggested that anyone who wants to make an end to these miseries of life, namely repetition of birth, death, disease, and old age, must take to this process of worshiping the Supreme Lord and not others. Radito yadarista pasadagni. Na radito yadarista pasadagni. If one is worshiping Krishna, then what is the use of performing great austerity? And if one performs great austerity, but doesn't come to the conclusion of worshiping Krishna, then what is the use of great austerity? This is spoken by Narada Muni, Narada Patratra. So by this worship of Krishna, we get purified. We're here to please Krishna. Just like we go to Mangalarti, I tell the body it's always good, and we're there before the curtains open. That we're waiting for Krishna instead of us kind of straddling in there after the curtain's already open. Krishna's waiting. We're making Krishna wait for us, right? Better that we're waiting for Krishna, right? He's God. There's not just some marble, up there, some marble form up there. No, it's Krishna. So we should try to understand it. Start that over. Herein it is suggested that anyone who wants to make an end to these miseries, anybody want an end to miseries?
Yes.
We all want an end to miseries, right? So this is how to do it. Namely, the repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease must take to this process of worshiping the Lord and not others, as it is also ultimately suggested in the Bhagavad Gita, 1865. What's 1865?
Manmana.
Manmara Bhagavan Bhakta Majaji Mam Namaskar. Mami Vashasi Satyante. Patijana Priyosi. Always think of me. You got to think of something. The mind is always going to think of something. Prabhupada said the mind can't think of two things at once. We've got to think of something. So the best thing is to think of Krishna. We get purified. Got to fill our minds with Krishna. If we at all want to end the cause of our conditioned life, we must take to the worship of Lord Krishna, who is present in everyone's heart by his natural affection for all living entities, who are actually the parts and parcels of it. So this is Krishna's affection that doesn't matter where we go. He's there. He's waiting for us to turn to him again. And Krishna's very patient, but we shouldn't make Krishna wait too long. Right? We shouldn't make him wait too long. He's so kind. This is a real friend. No matter what we do, even the president of the Atheistic Society in America, Krishna's right there as a super soul, just waiting to turn to him. So kind. The baby in the lap of his mother is naturally attached to the mother, and the mother is attached to the child. But when the child grows up and becomes overwhelmed by circumstances, he gradually becomes detached from the mother, although the mother always expects some sort of service from the grown-up child and is equally affectionate toward her child, even though the child is forgetful. Similarly, because we are all part and parcel of the Lord is always affectionate to us, and he always tries to get us back home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada said that Krishna is more anxious for us to go back to Godhead than we desire to go. So he wants us home. Even it said that Krishna's feeling some pain because of his living entities are suffering. So therefore he comes. So by taking to Krishna consciousness and also trying to help others take to Krishna consciousness, we're, believe it or not, relieving Krishna of some pain. There's that amazing pastime of Krishna. He had a headache, and the devotees, Krishna would get the dust from my devotee's feet and put it on my head. This is the solution. A good remedy. Headache, dust from the feet of the devotee. So the devotees are going around trying to get people to give the dust to their feet. I'm not going to dust to my feet and put on Krishna's head. I'll go to hell. Went to so many, looked to Shiva and Brahma and so many people. No. And they went to the gopis. I think Krishna suggested go to the gopis. Yeah. Take as much as you like. But aren't you afraid you're going to commit an offense? I don't care. Krishna's got a headache. They don't care about themselves. Completely selfless. Krishna's got a headache. He wants the dust from our feet. Yeah, take all you like. This is a devotee. This is a real devotee. Live to please Krishna. Live to please Krishna. Let's try over that sentence. It's nice. But when the child grows up and becomes overwhelmed by circumstances, he gradually becomes detached from the mother, although the mother always expects some sort of service from the grown-up child and is equally affectionate toward the child, even though the child is forgetful. Similarly, because we are all part and parcel of the Lord is always affectionate to us, and he always tries to get us back home, back to God. But we, the conditioned souls, rebellious rascals, do not care for him and run instead after the illusory bodily connections in the mirage of the desert. What do? They go and they try to get water in the desert, and what do they get? Sand. Just sand. Nothing there. We must therefore extricate ourselves from all illusory connections of the world and seek reunion with the Lord, trying to render service unto him, because he is the ultimate truth. Actually, we are hankering after him as a child who seeks the mother. And to search out the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we need not go anywhere else, because the Lord is within our hearts. This does not suggest, however, that we should not go to the places of worship. namely the temples, churches, or mosques. Such holy places of worship are also occupied by the Lord, because the Lord is omnipresent. For the common man, these holy places are centers of learning about the science of God. When the temples are devoid of activities, the people in general become uninterested in such places, and consequently the mass of people gradually become godless, and a godless civilization is the result. Like there's so many temples, the Prabhupada said there's some temples, and the Vijaya is left, everybody's left, and there's animals in the temple. It's just horrible. There's only one temple that I know of in the history of ISKCON so far. Hopefully it never happens again. Murari Seva, all the devotees left. 2 weeks, everybody just left. And then I guess some wise devotee went there and tried the deities, just the deities, Gaurita, beautiful deities. Because the devotion it was actually a booming temple. There was a Gurukula there, Brahmatirtha was there, about 100 devotees, kids and parents and graduates. Over 2 weeks. Of course, it's still struggling. Just a couple of devotees there. Such a hellish civilization actually increases the conditions of life. Oh, artificially. Such a hellish civilization artificially increases the conditions of life, and existence becomes intolerable for everyone. The foolish leaders of a godless civilization try to devise various plans to bring about peace and prosperity in the godless world under a patent trademark of materialism. And because such attempts are illusory only, the people elect incompetent, blind leaders, one after another, who are incapable of offering solutions. They create more problems with it. Kali Yuga. If we want to all, if we at all want to end this anomaly of a godless civilization, we must follow the principles of revealed scriptures like the Srimad Bhagavatam, and follow the instructions of a person like Sukadeva Goswami, who has no attraction for material gain. Yat Kripata Hambande Shigarunjana Vanchakavatu Vishya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavani Vaishya. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this verse starts out saying, thus being fixed, one must render service unto the super soul situated within one's heart as omnipotency. So this is the goal of the human form of life, is to become fixed in Krishna, absorbed in Krishna, always thinking of Krishna, always doing something for Krishna. And if we do like this, then we'll be free of the attraction to Maya. The example is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam of a person who's doing some woodwork on the side of a road, and he's really absorbed in this woodwork, carvings, and a whole procession. The king comes by with a whole procession. When the king goes anywhere, there's a whole procession. But he's so absorbed in his work, didn't even notice. So that's the example that if we're absorbed in Krishna, then we don't even notice Maya. Of course, Not easy, but possible. To be absorbed in Krishna to the point where we're not attracted to Maya. But Krishna, he's so attractive. His name is Bhagavan because he's so attractive that it is possible that we can give up our attraction to Maya. Krishna is much more attractive than Maya, although Maya tries hard, very hard to look attractive. But it's illusory. It's illusory attraction. Just like they have the same, even here in America. It's beauty is skin deep. Beauty is skin deep. It's only on the surface. Just like I don't know if I said this before, but in Miami there was this terrible, terrible accident, and there was a sports car went head on with other cars, and a lady who was in the car, her body was opened up, just you can't everything. The first policeman that went there, he was just couldn't believe it, and he actually vomited because the body was just opened up. I mean, you look inside the body, it's like pretty disgusting. You know, so it was just torn asunder, as I say. And he quit his job that day. Yeah, it was just too much for him. It was just too much for him. So these bodies, yeah, it's skin deep. You look inside, it's like, you know, it looks, and you know, some of these bodies look very attractive. Some of these female bodies and look very attractive, but you go beyond the skin, it's not attractive at all. But with spiritual bodies, there's nothing that's unattractive. Spiritual bodies. So that's what we're going to have to look forward to, having a spiritual body. You know, to have these material bodies. Prabhupada said that the soul is embarrassed to have these material bodies, because the nature of the soul is eternality, knowledge, and bliss. But we're in these bodies that are temporary. There's so much ignorance, so much unhappiness, and the body is just a mess. So many obnoxious substances in the body. So, but to have a spiritual body, oh, how wonderful. Prabhupada said in the spiritual world, everything is conscious. Everything is conscious. Everything can see. Everything can hear. Everything moves. Everything is conscious. Here, practically everything is unconsciousness, dead matter. Except even the body. Even the body, our bodies are dead. But because the soul is there, therefore it appears to be conscious, but it's actually dead. I was just listening to a lecture Prabhupada said people think that God is dead. Say Prabhupada went to New York City and he became a big hit amongst the youth. And there was one article about Prabhupada's coming to the Lower East Side, and the author of this article said, some think that God is dead, that he's gone, but no. Swami Bhaktivedanta has come and let everybody know that God is alive and well. He's alive and well. The Prabhupada said they're thinking that God is dead, but actually they're dead. They're dead. It's like there's that verse, Neya karma dharmaya, navi ragaya kapate, netirta parasevaya, jivan atmododsa. That if one's work, neya karma dharma, if one's work does not bring one to dharma, if one's dharma does not bring one to renunciation, and if one's renunciation does not bring one to devotional service, then one is considered to be dead, although breathing. So that's what we have in the world. It appears like they're alive. They're dead. We're trying to bring people alive. We're also trying to come alive again. We were partially dead. Now we're trying to come alive to Krishna consciousness. But the more Krishna conscious we are, the more we become alive. And Prabhupada said that as we grow in Krishna consciousness, our spiritual body, our subtle spiritual body is growing also, imperceptibly. We just have to, with great determination and great patience. Utsaha means enthusiasm. Be very enthusiastic. Whatever it is we're doing, we should be very enthusiastic. Like Prabhupada was in Los Angeles, and there was one boy. He was just running around doing all kinds of things, getting garlands and doing this and doing that and getting a microphone. And Prabhupada said to the boy, he's doing everything. Just a 10-year-old boy, just very enthusiastic. So enthusiasm is very attractive to Krishna. If we're enthusiastic to get up in the morning and chant our rounds, worship the deity, and do whatever service it is that we're doing. We do it very enthusiastically. Then Krishna is very pleased. And enthusiasm is contagious. Like Prabhupada was so enthusiastic to serve Krishna, and his enthusiasm it spread. It spread all over the world, and it still is. This is Bhaktivedanta purport expresses his enthusiasm. This purport here expresses his enthusiasm to serve Krishna. So we should pray for this utsahan, nischaya, and from enthusiasm then have confidence. We should have confidence. Like there was one person who was I recently heard he was reading the Bhagavad Gita, but he got to chapter 2 and he said he liked Arjuna more than Krishna, because Krishna was trying to entice him to fight, and Arjuna wanted to be peaceful. And naturally everybody wants peace, but he should have kept going. Actually, the whole purpose of the Bhagavad Gita was to actually bring out a peaceful society, because Duryodhana, he was terrible. He was trying to kill the Pandavas, the greatest devotees, some of the greatest devotees on the planet. Horrible. So he wanted Yudhisthira to be the king, with his Dharmaraj himself. So, and of course they won, and there was a one. Imagine when Yudhisthira was the king. I don't know. Anybody know how long he was the king? It'd be interesting to know how long he was, because eventually he gave up ruling the kingdom. But it'd be interesting I'm sure for many, many years. I mean, imagine being under the leadership of King Yudhisthira. Yeah. I told Vaisheshika Maharaj, I said, actually, you should be the president. He said, well, at least I know I'll get one good vote. He said, no, all of ISKCON will vote for you. Prabhupada was into this for a while. He had devotees in political positions where they were trying to be president. And one devotee, Balavanta, he was running for mayor in Georgia. And the one who ran for president in Australia, he got 65 votes. And the name of the party was In God We Trust. So Prabhupada was pleased. He said, well, those 65 people, they got advancement just by voting for a devotee. Prabhupada said the reason America is so opulent But we're not so opulent anymore. I think we're in what, $34 trillion debt or something. I don't know. I don't think there's any country in the history of the world with such debt. Although it appears all right. But Prabhupada said the reason we have so much opulence, it was still there when Prabhupada was here, is because in God we trust. It's the only country in the world that has in God we trust. Now there's many atheists that are very upset about that. And they're happy that now we have a lot of digital. They don't have to carry money anymore. They're happy with that. But yeah, our forefathers, the leaders of this country, they're very God conscious. Therefore, there's so many churches. Prabhupada was so happy to see so many churches when he came. In that little Butler, Pennsylvania, there's so many churches. So many, there's like thousands and thousands of churches. So Prabhupada was so happy to see that. So people in general actually, this is the only country in the world that's a first world country, and to this day still so God conscious. We have these mega churches. What is it? How many? 20,000 people? 20,000? Something like that. How many? Well,
20,000, 50,000.
Yeah, huge. It's amazing. Of course, they don't say much about God. Just material. How to become more opulent materially. Unfortunately. But yeah, still, people are very God conscious here. We're trying to get this this church, and so many people are bidding. So many other religious groups they want it also. It's a little problem for us. Let's see what Krishna arranges. So we'll stop there. Any question or reflection or comment or correction?
Do you have any tips on how to conquer the mind?
Tips on conquering the mind. Huh. I need some tips. Well, yeah, what Bhakti-siddhanta says, what you talk about, what he gave us, is what Krishna gave us, just the Bhagavad Gita. That every time we're reading the Bhagavad Gita, we're beating the mind. Every time we read Srimad Bhagavatam, when we hear these great devotees, they give them classes, and we're beating the mind. Because the mind is, the mind, what is the tendency of the mind? It wants to be the enjoyer, right? And the proprietor. So we're hearing again and again and again that Krishna is the enjoyer, he's the proprietor, he's the friend. So the more we hear this, the more we come away from this trying to be the enjoyer. Right? And there's one verse where it says we should hear for a long, long time. It's actually a verse. We should hear for a long time because there's a lot of contamination. And the more attentive we are, like sometimes we're reading and we read a whole page and nothing went in. The mind. It's like our japa sometimes chant a whole round and didn't hear anything. The mind. So actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said, the root of all offenses is inattentiveness. It's the root of all offenses. Inattentiveness. So we have to be attentive in whatever it is we're doing. Then get closer and closer to conquering the mind. Yes.
I had a question. I heard that before Prabhupada, during Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati's time, the devotees there used to chant 64 rounds, and then now we chant 16. Does that mean that we get the same effect that those disciples got when they chanted 64 rounds, we chant 16?
So the question is that for you on the internet? Is Jess is asking that at the time of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, devotees chanted 64 rounds. we're chanting 16, do we get the same result? Actually, Prabhupada, he chanted 16. He said the way he would chant his 16 is he would chant before breakfast he would chant 4 rounds. Before lunch he would chant 4 rounds. Before dinner he would chant 4 rounds. In this way he couldn't eat. He had to chant his round. Now there was still another 4 rounds there. I don't know, maybe after somewhere in between. But he would chant 16. So not everybody, evidently not everybody chanted 64 rounds. Maybe there was a concession there for the householders because they're working also. But I'm not sure if all the brahmacharis maybe we could investigate. I don't know if they all chanted 64 rounds a day. But Prabhupada wanted the devotees, when he first came, he wanted 64 rounds. I guess devotees tried, said Prabhupada. Chanted 64 rounds. Okay, 32, try 32 on the Prabhupada. 32 can't do it. Okay, minimum 16. Good, that's how I got down to 16. But 64 rounds, that takes like
8.
or more. Or less for some. Some always chant 4-minute rounds. I suspect maybe sometimes there was one devotee who was chanting 3-minute rounds. And I suspected maybe he's just chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, then changed the beat Hare Rama, Rama. Only half a mantra, I suspect. I chant pretty fast rounds, and that takes me like 7.5 minutes, 8 minutes to chant, isn't it? So I don't know how they do that. I think they might be chanting, half a mantra.
Competitions. 64 rounds the first.
So we can just say that the Acharya said that 16 rounds is the minimum that to be.
Yeah, that's sufficient. Prabhupada said you chant 16 rounds a day, you follow the 4 regular principles, and I guarantee you'll go back to God. But quality has to be there. Not just 16. 16 inattentive rounds won't do it. Yes.
Actually, sometimes during Ekadashi, when I try to do more than 16, I see that the full attention zone comes after 10th round. So
after 10th.
Yeah, sometimes it happens that for the first 7, 8 rounds, I mean, the attention is probably 30, 40%. But then from 10th round, and when I try to go beyond 16, then I can actually feel it. So what about that?
Oh,
Like,
well,
can we
chant
get that
more than
before-
16 rounds.
No, but like, how can we get that attention before 16?
Well,
Yeah.
there's different things you can do. There's some things that I do. Like I chant this mantra, or this verse that Rupa Goswami, I chant this before I start. And he said, I do not know how much nectar there is in the 2 syllables Krishna. When I chant the holy name, the name appears to dance on my tongue. And I desire to have many millions of tongues and millions of ears to hear and chant the name. And when the holy name enters in the courtyard of my heart, it stops the activities in my mind, and I experience unlimited happiness. That's a good thing to chant before you start. Because there's a lot of nectar in the holy name. So we have to be reminded that this is the greatest nectar, chanting the name. Everybody wants to. Of course, we shouldn't do this just to experience happiness. We shouldn't try to enjoy the name of Krishna. But the nectar is there if we chant sincerely. The desire to serve Krishna. Prabhupada said it's like a child crying out to the mother for service. So those are some of the moods. And he also said that Krishna, please accept me again as your servant. And he said we should also pray that my friend, Krishna is our best friend. So these are different things that we should think of before we start our japa, to get us in the mood, proper mood, chanting.
sorry, over time I improve. So the mind becomes complacent many times because of comparison, because I see
Because of
comparison.
comparison.
Yeah, I see that other people are doing so good, I can never do it.
You might be doing better than them. You don't know what their mind is. I mean, we're seeing the external, isn't it? We don't know. They can be completely in Maya. We don't know. Krishna knows. Anyway, we should all just try our best and and pray for other devotees also. This is a Vaikuntha consciousness. It's like there's Prabhupada said that in the material world there's a lot of competition, but in the spiritual world, devotees, when they see others doing nicely, they think, oh, he's serving Krishna so nicely, and he appreciates actually this. And a devotee feels grateful to be in the association. And this word gratitude, this is like the heart of all good qualities. The gratitude. The gratitude and appreciation of other devotees. So we should pray to chant sincerely, and also pray for other devotees to chant sincerely. This is the Vaikuntha. We want to see everybody. And therefore, we're going on Bhakti Siddhi. We want the people out there also to take to Krishna consciousness. We want everybody to become a devotee. Sarva Sakhino Bhavantu. Prabhupada said this is the mood of a devotee is to see everybody become happy. This is a devotee. Such a nice consciousness there. In the material world, there's so much envy. They take pleasure in seeing others suffer. But a devotee takes pleasure in seeing others happy in Krishna consciousness. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Space Vijaya Prabhu ki Jai.